Hi folks, welcome back to the Music Corner. Today we're talking about odd meters or odd time signatures. Basically an odd time signature is something other than what you're used to in typical Western music, like, typical songs are in 4/4, 2/4, 3/4, 6/8, things like that. So an odd meter is going to be something like a 5/4, 7/4, or something really compound like 17/16. And basically, if you're not familiar with a time signature, it's the two numbers stacked up on top of each other on the piece of sheet music that you're reading. If you do indeed read sheet music, it comes right after the clef. The top number tells you how many beats are in the measure. The bottom number tells you what the beat is. So, if we're in 7/4, we have 7 beats in a measure. And then a quarter note counts as 1 beat. So there's 7 quarter notes that make up a measure. If we're in 5/8, we have 5 beats per measure, and an 8th note counts as 1 beat. So we have 5 8th notes that make up a measure. So let's take a look at our first example of an odd time signature with 5/4. Alright, this first example, it's in 5/4. It's an excerpt from the song Trundrumbaline off the Joe Satriani's Crystal Planet album. This is just kind of the basic riff, the intro riff that it varies, but I'm just going to play kind of the first 2 measures of it over and over again. And anytime you're doing something in an odd time signature, you really got to make a groove out of it and get comfortable playing with it. When you pick up, when you pick down, just do it comfortably so it feels natural, and you have to work with it a lot, and you have to do it with a metronome. This song is at 148 beats per minute. I definitely don't encourage starting at 148 beats per minute with this song. Definitely start a lot slower than that. Gradually increase your speed by increments of 3 beats per minute, maybe 4. Get the riff right 10 times in a row, and then increase it by 3 to 4 beats a minute. Get it right another 10 times until you've reached the target speed. That's just how you have to do it in order for this to feel comfortable. So let me turn on my metronome here. Let's give it a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's the next example. It's in 7/4. This song is Die to Live by Steve Vai off the Alien Love Secrets album, I believe it was. And again, this one feels very comfortable to listen to. Not only that, but it's actually pretty easy to play, relatively speaking, for a Steve Vai song. It doesn't really feel all that odd. It's very well written. And so the idea is just try to get that groove. Play with a metronome, again, as usual. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to show you the first little part of this song. It's pretty easy. It's a great little tune. It's especially great for this is like a 3-piece band kind of song. Use of a lot of open strings, but that's a different kind of lesson. This is just odd times, remember? So we're in A. And we go to an A2. And he does this a lot, where he's actually slapping on the harmonic. So, I guess technically it's an artificial harmonic because you're creating the harmonic. With the open strings, the harmonics here are on the 12th fret. Well, when you make an A, these harmonics have moved up to the 14th. And so you slap there, and you get a little harmonic out of it. Alright, so for this next example, I've changed clothes, and we're going to look at 7/8 now. So we just looked at 7/4, we're going to look at 7/8. This is 7 beats with 8th notes being a beat rather than a quarter note being a beat. So a cool way of using 7/8 as a guitar player is you can superimpose a 7/8 riff into a 4/4 time signature. Now what I mean by superimposing is that I can play a riff in 7/8 while the rest of the band is playing in 4/4. A great example of this would be the Attitude song by Steve Vai. So there we go with the Steve Vai again. And very simply, I'll turn the metronome on here. I've got it in 4. And you can just count to 4 and play this riff in 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm doing there, let me turn that off. What I'm doing there is when you're playing in 7/8, when you're superimposing, the accent is going to change. You want to accent where that snare is, and so each note of this phrase, each time you play this, the accent's going to be somewhere else. So that's what it means to superimpose 7/8. Well, now what does it actually mean to play a riff in 7/8? Well, let's take a look at this example. Okay, this next example, it's from the song Tom Sawyer by Rush. The instrumental section of this song breaks down into 7/8. It goes from 4/4 into 7/8. And so, and I know this is not a guitar riff. This is a keyboard riff. And keyboard riffs, when played on guitar, are going to feel kind of strange. And this is going to feel even stranger being in 7/8. So what I've done is, since we moved from 4/4 to 7/8, when I'm playing in 7/8, I would rather count in eighth notes, of course. So I'm either going to double the speed, of whatever the BPM is, which is usually a quarter note equals, this many beats a minute. Well, when you're playing in 7/8 or in any kind of 8, you want to double that speed so that you're counting in eighth notes, or just have your metronome. If you have a metronome that can count in eighth notes, just have your speed and make it count in eighth notes rather than quarter notes. So I've got the metronome set here, so let me show you this little riff. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's the riff. It's again, 7/8. That's kind of the main riff that's being played over that. I know it's not a guitar part, and it's going to feel strange, but it's always a cool little thing to be able to do, especially if you're playing in cover bands or something, and you want to play a keyboard riff like that with guitar. So, but again, that's another lesson for another day. So I'll have that example on the tabs as well. Okay, I hope that helped. And I want to apologize for the lateness of this video coming out. I've had some technical difficulties. So you do what you can with what you got, right? So I hope the odd time signature thing helped. We looked at 5/4, we did 7/4, we did 7/8. I'm going to make a second video to kind of follow up for this next time, where we're going to be dealing with more compound time signatures like 17/16 or 22/8. Weird things like that. All right, so that should be really interesting, really fun to do. But until then, get a grip on some of these, quote, more normal odd time signatures like 5/4 and 7/8. Again, the examples that we did, they're on the tab, and feel free to go learn more. Learn the entire song, learn the entire part of the song that we're looking at. Just try to expand that. Another thing you want to expand is your musical library. Don't just stick with normal Western music that you're used to. Look up some other worldly music. A good thing to do is you can Google odd time signatures. There's a whole Wikipedia on it that has a list of songs that are done in odd times. So have fun with that, and I'll see you next week.